Hey guys, welcome back to another Gaming Memories video. Here we are taking a look at a game called Taxi 2 that is actually a port pretty much based off a movie that was released roughly around the same time. And this game was actually only released primarily in France. It wasn't released in any other regions in Europe or outside of Europe. And it is based off pretty much the movie of the same name. There were a few different ports of the game that were released on the Sega Dreamcast and the PC, and also the Game Boy Advance at the time, but all pretty much developed by totally different development studios. So even though this game does have the movie name tied to it, it kind of takes place based off a select type of certain missions within the game, and they're based off certain elements that would have happened in the film. But ideally, the game itself, it's very simplistic in its nature, because there's not really an awful lot to it from what I've played of it. It's essentially just you just get to point A to point B, and you literally just you have one rival on the track, as you can see. And all you have to do is just get to the finish line pretty much before they do. And that's pretty much it. There's nothing really else to it, which is kind of a disappointment, because like we all know that movies and games don't always necessarily mean a good mix, especially on older consoles. It was very rare to really find a movie franchise that would actually get a good game to come from it. And this here is no exception to that idea as well. This actually, even though I'll admit I love driving games, and this is playable, but it's very weak compared to other games I've played, because there's literally, like I said, there's nothing really to it. As you play it here, like there's even a lot of the levels I played, there's virtually very little, if to no traffic on the bar, the rival car that you're driving against. And even at that, it's very difficult, because they always catch up with you no matter what you do. And especially in later levels, because the handling of the car actually isn't great at all, and you will crash all the time, and it can be very fiddly, so to try and actually get around like corners and stuff, and roads can be very narrow, so it leaves the other car can literally just zip past you at any point, and then it's very hard to catch up with them, especially towards later in the game. Now, it is worth trying out to have a look at and see what it's like, but most people more than likely won't enjoy this game at all, because it is very disappointing in a lot of ways. And the fact is that it's based off a movie franchise. Again, you can't really hold too high of expectations with it, in fairness, because as we all know, games based off movie franchises were never really the best back in those days. They have improved since, don't get me wrong, but these older games do have a lot of questions around them as well, because you'd be thinking to yourself, especially with this game, like, what were the developers thinking? It'd be comparable to like a basic or cheap kind of mobile based game that you would see on mobile phones and stuff today. That's very what it's like. So it is. Now, I haven't played it. It's okay. It's not anything, fantastic. Now, I don't like to completely just disregard video games that are, unless they're primarily really bad. This would definitely be a weaker driving title, and definitely a weaker game on the PlayStation. And even though we all know that the PlayStation does have a lot of fantastic titles on it, don't get me wrong, but every console always comes with its own cliche of titles that are not so good as well. And this would definitely be in that category, which is quite a shame. But again, it was only released in France, so outside of that region, it was never known or seen by anybody. So you would have been hard pressed if you had actually paid money to actually buy this full price when it actually came out, because we would be left disappointed. But at the same time, even for the likes of myself, with doing these videos and exploring the PlayStation again, it is worthwhile exploring these type of games, just to see what they're like and to see how they compare to other games. Now, it's definitely not as good, but again, it's still worth the experience and just seeing what it's like. And that's what I'm enjoying now about getting back into playing the PlayStation, is I am getting to experience these type of games. Regardless of whether they're good or bad, you're still having that privilege to be able to at least try them out and see what you think. So it is what it is, pretty much. It's very simplistic. You just get from point A to point B, like I said, and that's pretty much just the premise of the game throughout. There's nothing really too crazy about it, other than it is difficult to play, but it is what it is. So if you want to experience it, by all means you can, but it's totally up to yourself. So if you have found this video to be useful, please be sure to leave a like. Also subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon to be updated whenever I release future content, and also share the video. And until next time, make sure to keep playing those classic games and enjoying them, and keep those gaming memories alive.